Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Wen, and I'm the co-founder and COO of Genspark. My talk today is about mixture of agents, technology architecture. So a little bit about myself. I was trained an automotive engineer, got my PhD from MIT back in 2013. After that, I started my first company. It was an enterprise SaaS company. We sold to municipalities and commercial real estate owners, airports, hotels, universities. The company was venture-backed by Y Combinator, Coastal Ventures, and many other Silicon Valley investors. Ran that company for about 9 years and sold it in October 22. And then stayed at the acquiring company for about a year, and then came out and then teamed up with my co-founders, including Eric and a bunch of the other folks. We're, relatively speaking, large funding team. So we all had experiences in Silicon Valley, including my own experience with a small startup, as well as some of the big technology companies such as Microsoft, Google, Meta, Baidu, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, you name it. So I'm the only guy who doesn't code on the team, so I'm on the business side. Everybody else could, do technical stuff. So today, what we do is we build AI agents for knowledge workers. So one of the very things in my last 10 years before Genspark, what I've learned is technology is indeed the power for when it comes to the shifts of our lifestyles and everything. But underneath, the most important thing is still human beings, our needs. So technology, with its empowerment, with its enabling power, is not going to determine what human beings need. That's exactly also how we're building Genspark. So we don't do pre-training. We don't train, for example, LLM models. What we focus on is how do we translate all the potential, all the great power out of the state-of-the-art models into what we need. Who we wanted to serve is the 1 billion plus knowledge workers around the globe, people like you and me. Essentially, we start with human needs. We leverage off what the technology has to offer. And we wanted to cover all of these tasks for you day to day. We launched back in April 2025 with our version 1, with our super agents, with our AI slides, with the goal to give more time back to people like you and me, instead of us have to spend time on the busy work. Can I quickly ask for a show of hands? How many people have heard of Genspark before today? Amazing. And how many people are users of Genspark as of today? All right, very cool. We have some lovers in the room. Thank you all. So essentially what we do is we build AI agents for knowledge workers, as I mentioned. We really wanted to elevate everybody in a way that we no longer have to spend time on busy work. Instead, we use our creativity and strategic thinking. We wanted to make everybody work like Jensen Huang. So when he took this interview, one of the folks from the, I think one of the newspapers asked him, Jensen, you work so hard. He said, no, I don't work hard. When I work, I don't feel like, sweating, whatnot. I feel like I'm dreaming. Why? Because my time is not spent on typing hard. My time is spent on thinking creatively, thinking strategically, how the world could be in the next few years. And we want that for everybody. We want your time to be spent on high level, high leverage, high value stuff, not like busy work. That's why we built what we built. Because of that, we've been also fortunate that since launch in April, we've had some rapid growth. We broke $50 million of ARR about 4 weeks back. We've accrued over 10 million global users. And according to Bassam Venture Partners' new standard, we're the supernova company. And OpenAI, Sam Altman highlighted us as one of the trillion token companies on the OpenAI Dev Day back in September. And we've been fortunate to raise $160 million of funding up until this February. We actually raised more money since then. And one of our investors, very important investors, is actually LG here in Korea. And we have our investor Drain here actually in the audience from LG Technology Ventures. Thank you for your support. So essentially, what makes Genspark different is that we've built a technology with 3 layers. And one of the most important thing we did was so-called the mixture of agents, or we call it the model orchestration layer. So our technology works in a way that in the bottom, we have 30+ AI models, OpenAI models, Google models, Anthropic models, and all the open source models. When it comes to a specific task, such as building a presentation, we may call on all of these models to do different things at different times to take advantage of their strength. And then, when it comes to the work product, we really care about the results of the work product. It's not just the intelligence. It's actually the reliability, the accuracy, the usability of the output of the application that matters. Because, look, human beings are smart. It's pretty easy for us to tell if I'm spending more time going back and forth with the AI to teach the AI how to do things, instead of actually spending time to do this myself may save me more time, versus, if it's one shot, the result is good, I'm ready to go. So it's pretty easy to tell. So it's important to make sure that the product is ready to go. So I was on the call with one of our customers. He's a CFO of this publicly traded real estate company based in Dallas, Texas. He said, look, when I've tried 20 tools on the market, you guys are the only one that is boardroom ready. So when you hear things like that, you immediately understand people care about the quality of the results. So that's the most important thing. And that's how we wanted to essentially build the technology. It comes back to the human needs, not how fancy this technology is. So why is it so important to have a mixture of agents, technology architecture? Well, we basically joked about this internally. If Genspark team is one division within OpenAI, okay, the results, the quality of our product would likely be a lot worse than what we have today. Because we would only have access to OpenAI models. We will not be able to use Anthropic models, Google models, and all the open source models out there to build our product, right? All of these models are good at different things. So OpenAI models today, they're really good at reasoning. Anthropic models are being viewed as some of the best models to write code. Google models are really good at artistic stuff, video, images, and open source models. A lot of good open source models are good at being quick, efficient, with lower cost. So all of these things, they matter, right? Like we put them all together. And then when it comes to leverage the strength of all of these models, research is important, don't get me wrong, but we're a product company. How to turn the capability, potential of all of these models based off tremendous amount of research into actual product value is our focus. That's why it makes a huge difference when it comes to having the optionality to call on different models. So it goes with, I just mentioned OpenAI models are good at reasoning today. That's not necessarily going to be the case forever. Who knows, right? Google may come up with a new model that is better at reasoning than OpenAI, right? Anthropic may come up with a model that is better at generating images than Google. All of these things are just still dynamically happening. We all probably saw that Twitter posts, everybody's releasing the world's best model in certain things. So the landscape changes all the time. And having a mixture of agents architecture would essentially put a product company in a place that you can always switch on the best model, right? When Nano Banana came up, it was clear that that's the winner. So we pushed it on right away, plug and play. And beyond all of these, being able to call on different models at the same time for one task, that capability is important as well, as I mentioned earlier. And consistently, so from a results standpoint, it's just so simple to understand, right? You have more models, it's always going to be better than you have only one option. And I would say not only having the access to different models matter, but also how do you put these models to work also matters. And the way we do it is we built the second layer of a technology is actually 100+ in-house tools. There are a lot of agentic companies doing amazing work out there. Many of them, they bet on, LLMs today are already good enough by themselves. They make that bet and saying that they're ready to do everything. We don't look at the world that way, okay? Large language models, they're like brains. They're good at giving you a response when you give them a natural language kind of input. But to do real world work, to build a podcast, to build a document that is ready to be filed with the SEC, to build a presentation that is ready to go. All of these real work, you need arms and legs around the brain to actually, bridge the gap between our human beings' needs and what the LLMs can do. I was just talking to Sean, who worked at OpenAI before at the Speakers Lounge, and he commented on that. When it comes to how important it is kind of to do, post-training and so on. I mean, it is just the reality that the raw model, right, GPT-2, 3, even between the GPT models and ChatGPT, there's post-training work to make it really be able to talk to us, let alone doing real work. So, putting the right tools into the in place for the LLM, so they could call on the right tools. I'll give you one example. When you build a presentation, sometimes we need to plot charts, right? Maybe a donut chart, maybe a column chart. It's always better, in my view, to write Python code to plot the chart, to do the visualization. Then you use a image generation model to generate the image. Fair? I mean, when you have those tools in place for the LLMs, they're capable of doing those things. When they don't have those options, they have to scramble and come up with things using their model reasoning or whatever capability, generation capability. It makes a difference. So it goes with when it comes to handling the errors. What I mean by that is our technology really leverages off the LLM's capability of autonomously making decisions on how to approach a problem, how to break down the problem, how to build a work plan. But when something doesn't work according to the plan, you would wanted the agent to be able to track back and then do something different to handle that error versus either getting stuck or couldn't get to completion of the task. Or just constantly trying the same thing, right? So having all of these different tools in place offers the large language models the opportunity to solve the same problem differently. It's just like human beings, right? We try solving the same problem this way, it doesn't work, we try a different way. That matters. At the end of the day, beyond just allowing the LLMs to use different tools to do things, it's also important to have a we call it the judge LLM evaluation in place. Is this result good enough? Is it ready for the human users? You need to be able to essentially, based off all the statistics, all the numbers, to tell that. We have built in-house evaluation benchmark to essentially make sure we're constantly optimizing for the quality of the output. At the end of the day, yeah. I mean, having all of these tools available would help you to reduce the token cost as well. I mean, burning tokens to do everything is one way of doing it. But allowing the LLMs to call on these amazing tools, pieces of code, to do certain smaller tasks, such as crawl the web, process a document, it's going to save a lot of tokens as well, and it's a lot faster, right? So this is really kind of the architecture of our technology. LLMs in the bottom, 30+ SOTA models. We have tool sets in the middle, and we do pay to get access to private databases so that the results, the output of the work, is not just based off fast web search. We pay to get access to, for example, PitchBook, Crunchbase, and so on and so forth, to essentially make sure the results are grounded. They're aligned with the reality. And for probably all of our agents, you can do fact check, right? And beyond that, we talked about in-house evaluation, how important that is. That's actually our secret sauce. Because, for example, when it comes to LLMs, the evaluation for LLMs, it's all mostly focused on intelligence. You want the LLMs to be able to solve real hard problems. But when it comes to us, as a knowledge worker myself, I've never solved one Olympiad-level math problem in the last 10 years, right? Intelligence matters, but how good an email I could write, how good a presentation I could build, how solid a financial model I could construct, those are more important. And those come down to, how you essentially evaluate, the usability of the results. And at the end of the day, we do RL with, kind of metadata from our users to continuously help our, open source models to get better at using the tools that we've built. That's a flywheel that we believe would benefit, the output of the application a lot as well. So I talked a lot. Let's see some examples. How about that? So this morning, we can do something live as well, but maybe we can just walk through a few examples first. This morning, this is kind of a side-by-side. Again, disclaimer, this is not to promote Genspark, okay? This is just to show the difference between kind of a single-thread, model kind of architecture versus mixture of agents, kind of how they work differently. So the prompt here is research AI Summit Seoul and build a 5-page slide deck on behalf of DMK Global to raise a $1 billion AI fund from companies like Samsung, SK, and LG. Dark background, clean design. Pretty simple prompt, right? So same prompt for ChatGPT agent. I put on the agent mode. And same thing for Genspark AI slides. So the important thing is not the results, whatnot. Of course, results are important. What I wanted to show everybody is, let's take a look at the activities, right? So OpenAI today, they're the champion of reasoning. So you can see, a lot of thinking, right? I will do this, kind of a chain of thoughts, keep thinking, search, sometimes search the web, get more information. So it's basically, thinking, search, and toward the end of it, there was some analysis around images and so on and so forth. And then it's writing code. That's how it's done, right? Now, when it comes to, so this is the result. Not bad, right? It's pretty, I'd say, visually pleasant. Relatively basic, but yeah, it's not bad. Now, let's replay this. So okay, not this one. Actually, I started here. I didn't even. I started with our super agent. I didn't even start with AI slides. The super agent spin up a sub agent to do the actual work. I basically put in the same prompt directly from our just to the entry point. With the anticipation, yeah, it's the same as ChatGPT, and let's see what happens. So basically, this is a little, yeah. So it started to, do parallel, search, reading on 50 things it could about, AI Summit Seoul, and so on and so forth. And then, you see, it spin up this sub-agent, right? So this is where we saw the other, this thing here. It basically wrote the prompt for a sub-agent by itself, right? So the beginning of this work is, and then we probably all have seen this, when it comes to work plan, this is the reasoning model working. possibly we're calling on OpenAI GPT-5 to build a work plan, five to do 7 steps or whatnot. But in the middle, if something goes wrong or if it is not working out, likely it'll track back and then try a new way of solving problems. This is kind of the power of putting tools into LLM's hands, right? And then when it comes to building a slide deck, most of the capabilities out on the market, they're either good at just telling a story kind of with text or the visual design stuff. No one is good at both, but it is important to be good at both. You need to be coherent with your story. So the agent here, what it did was it'll start thinking, right? Like, okay, here's the story. How do I substantiate the page 1? And then it switched to the Sonnet 4.5 from Claude, possibly, to write coding HTML to render slides. And then the slide is here, right? So it does this rigorously. Build the work plan, execute the work plan, think how to do it, write code to do it, calling on different models, and so on and so forth. And there are some charts. I bet you this chart is, the agent calling on a separate tool to write Python code to essentially plot the chart, right? You can, yeah, of course. Let me see if, yeah. So if we make it bigger, so yeah, this is kind of the results, right? I don't know if this is boardroom ready, but clearly it has a lot more, it says DMK Global down here. It has a lot more context, a lot more content, a lot more substantiation, right? It even highlighted, the potential LPs of the fund. So yeah, I would say from a building tools standpoint, from a mixture of agents standpoint, from a aligning the results against what human beings needs instead of what the technology thinks is cool, whatnot perspective. All of these things are extremely important, right? So you can see. And then another example was I said, okay, GPT, research Samsung Electronics financials and AI initiatives, build their 2026 budget based on the past 3 years data and with reflection on their AI investments in the coming years, best, worst, probable, 3 cases, okay? So ChatGPT did what it is absolutely good at. It built me a report. This is not a budget. This is a report, right? Awesome report. I can download it into PDF. But this is not what I was thinking. I was thinking a big spreadsheet with all the line items, real budgets. Now this is what why? Because it's so good at reasoning. It forgets. It doesn't have kind of the capability to do other things. It just solves everything with reasoning. Now with Genspark, it basically called on the reasoning model to do parallel search to understand, to find all the, the financial reports on the public market and whatnot. And then it started to create, using tool to spin up this spreadsheet, to create this spreadsheet, and really started, we can start replay. Build this, right? So all of these, line by line, item by item. This is it would be really cool to see kind of how it does this step by step. Behind it's all coding, right? Like you have to have that kind of a mixture of agents to be able to do all of these things. For the sake of time, I'll move on to the next. I also asked ChatGPT to build a poster for Happy Hour hosted by DMK Global at the AI Summit Seoul 2025 this afternoon at 5 p.m. in Westin Hotel. Feature Ma Dong-suk and Kim Go-eun. Please include a picture of each of them. That was my request. Build a poster. Well, it worked for 14 seconds. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you with this. I just simply can't. I don't know what happened on the back end, but hey, same prompt, same process. You reason to build a work plan. You write code or generate image to do the work, and then you check on the results. It gave me 4 options. Clearly, these 2, I mean, the picture is not right. Third one looks weird, but the second and the fourth, we can go from there, right? This is one shot. So having, again, a mixture of agents, kind of architecture, put the tools into the LLM's hands, and then align the results with the human needs. Those are important things. Same goes with this last thing I'll show here. research mixture of agents versus other techniques, and built me a 1-minute podcast about it for the AI Summit Seoul 2025. Pretty simple, right? This is ChatGPT. It gave me a full transcript. Am I going to read it and build the podcast? Having different modality would be important. Let's see if the audio could play here.
For a really complex problem.
Okay.
You don't just get sent to one specialist. Instead, a whole team of proposer AIs all review the case and write up their notes. And then a lead consultant, the aggregator AI, reads everyone's notes, synthesizes the best insights, and creates a comprehensive plan.
Wow.
They do this in multiple rounds, with each round getting better and more refined. It's pure collaboration. Incredible. And this collaborative approach actually works? It more than works. An MOA team of open source models just scored over 65% on the Alpaca Eval 2.0 benchmark. Whoa. Leaving GPT-4 Omni behind at
Look, I'd say they know more than me, for real. So that's the kind of examples. Really, my parting thoughts are this. There are 3 things we're seeing already, right? Mixture of agents, this kind of architecture, it's table stakes now. Whoever is building agentic AI, building it with a mixture of agents kind of architecture is kind of that's just how people do it. But I would say, regardless how fancy the technology is, human beings is at the center of this AI revolution. Human beings do business with human beings. We don't do business with AI. We don't serve AI, right? So customers and users' needs is the most important thing. Doesn't matter how fancy the technology is. You can't make unrealistic bets like, okay, LLMs would just be able to use computers and then get everything done. The panel we just had here, we're talking about where you can rely on, AI, where you cannot, right? Today, I mean, for us, we're on the 2 sides. You tell AI what do you need. You still need to check results. I don't write my own emails anymore. I ask Genspark to write my emails, but I still proofread it. But the important thing is human needs is the center. And then the last thing is, look, MOA is cool. It gave us a lot of great results, but this is just the start point. The technology is going to rapidly grow and shift and change and improve on a daily basis. The important thing is to stay nimble. If you're building something, embrace AI, embrace all the latest technologies, but knowing that this is not the end point. This is it's not settled. We are betting on a future where a world is with 1,000 models blooming. We hope the world doesn't get to a place where there's one company and one model, and we're all doomed. So this is the future we're betting on, and we hope to create this future through the mixture of agents architecture with everybody and benefit from it. Create superior outcomes by embracing all the SOTA models, right? I was just so excited to see so many great users here. We're here. Here's 1,000 free credits for everybody who joined this session. Please try it out. And we want your honest product feedback. Let us know how we can get better. We would love to have your input. We would love to learn from you. How can we make all of these amazing AI models serve you better? That's our dream. Thank you, everyone.